Hi everyone, this is Julianne Victoria. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the 2022 Year Ahead Vedic Astrology readings. So these readings will be looking at the planetary placements in the year ahead. So the planetary placements on January 1st, 2022 and how they relate to your chart. Of course, as usual, to get a more in-depth personal reading, a personal reading will be required. And I am opening up readings for year ahead readings, Vedic astrology, Western astrology, as well as some tarot reading options. And the link is below in the description box for that. Also, if you're interested in taking one of my online courses that I offer over on Teachable, those will only be available through the end of 2021. And those include the Journey Through the Nakshatras course and Shedding Light on Your Karma and Dharma. Those courses include PDFs and downloads. So if you're interested in those, you want to get them before they're not available anymore, check below, find the links. I'll pin them at the top of the comments as well so you can find them and see if it's something you're interested in. All right, let's get on to our year ahead readings. Hi Virgo, welcome to your 2022 year ahead Vedic astrology reading. So here's the chart with you, Virgo, set up as the first house for January 1st, 2022. Let's begin talking about the nodes, Rahu and Ketu. You have, as the year begins, right? So this is a layout of the sky on January 1st, which sets up the energy for the year. You have Rahu here in your ninth house in the sign of Taurus. Rahu represents karma we are creating, as well as motivation, ambition. You could say, where your focus is, where a strong focus is for you for the year ahead. And on the negative side, because everything has positive and negative, Rahu represents illusion. And I'm getting wishful thinking energy. And, doesn't mean every Virgo out there is wishful thinking for the year ahead, but you have to address both sides of the coin, right? The positive and the negative. So with Rahu here in your ninth house of, it's religion, it's philosophy, it's higher education, publication, as well as law, politics, government. Any of you Virgos out there who have ambitions, hopes, desires, right, to expand upon or go into a path in any of those fields in higher education. So you may already be a student in school, and this is great energy to bring in for that. You may be thinking about going to college, university, graduate school in the year ahead. Great energy for that. If you're interested in law or politics or government, or you're in those fields, this is great energy for that too, as well as publication and anything in the religious sphere and philosophical sphere. On the negative side, if you're not in those fields and you're interested and you don't put the work in to understand what it takes to go into that, that's where I feel some of the wishful thinking can come in. Again, this won't be for every Virgo out there. But if you have a fantasy of what it would be like to, say, go into politics, do your research first. Make sure you know what you're getting into and if you really want to get into it, right? So we have Taurus here, which is grounded, earthy energy. Make sure you're grounded before you follow those hopes and dreams, those ambitions and that motivation. And if it's right, if it's what you want, this energy is very helpful to put that into action, to put that karmic energy into it so that it brings things back to you in the future, right? So it grows. Now, opposite Rahu, of course, is always Ketu. He's up here in your third house in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is a sign of research among, death, change, transformation, all things metaphysical and occult. And Ketu here in a chart that is for a year ahead can represent, especially in the sign of Scorpio, reflecting back on the past in this lifetime. He does represent past life karma, but that's more of a natal chart thing, since this is, you could say, a transient chart or a transit chart. Reflecting back on the past and learning from it. Scorpio, that sign of research, digging deep. What does that mean? What did that mean for me? Did I learn my lesson there? And being on this nodal axis, that's significant. That's significant for checking to see is, are my goals, is my ambition, my motivation, is it real or is it fantasy? Is it fantasy based on not learning from the past? Or, okay, I get that, I learned from the past. Oh yeah, that, transformative sign. I have grown, I have changed, I have transformed from that. And now I can see more clearly, I'm more grounded in where I want to go in my ambitions. So keep that in mind. Even if your ambitions aren't in ninth house matters this year ahead, because this is a general reading, right? How this lays on your, how this lays on in relation to the planets in your natal chart will give you more details personally. But in a general sense, I want to say check your ambitions. Check your ambitions and make sure they're really what you want to do. Get grounded, reflect on the past, do your research, learn your lessons. Have you grown? Have you changed? And if you're, pretty sure you've done that, go for it. And go for it big. Okay. Now over here where we have Ketu, we also have Mars, right? And the moon. The moon being in very deep Jyeshta Nakshatra. And this energy here, Virgos, you may have a greater sense of intuition, even for some, I want to say intensely psychic, I don't want to say experiences, psychic impressions, psychic knowing in this year ahead. Again, that may not be every Virgo out there. Depends on what your third house looks like in your natal chart. But this is a strong psychic energy. So my feeling with this, and then along with Mars here, passion, drive, right? More drive. Mars rules Scorpio. This combination here gives me the impression that most Virgos will be doing this deep inner research. And it's third house of communication. So it's a lot of self-communication I'm getting here. And you may talk about it with other people, but it's very quiet and private and intense internal Scorpio. I feel it's more about communicating with yourself, with your past, with your life experiences, with your own psychic and intuitive impressions. That, I want to say, sparking your fire to even dig deep further and to learn and transform from the past, which could have been just 2021 for some of you, or the past decade, or your entire life. Potentially past lives, but again, it's a transit chart, so that may be for some, but not all of you. And because there's such this strong energy here, I do feel most Virgos will not get caught up in wishful thinking and fantasy. Yeah, you'll listen to your intuition and the lessons you've learned from the past. And again, that's gonna inspire, spark, motivate for action you take in this year ahead in whatever it is you're motivated to do. And again, it doesn't have to be ninth house matters, but it is here in this house in this chart. Okay. Then in your fourth house of home, Virgo, you have the sun and you have Venus as the year begins in the sign of Sagittarius. Sun and Venus, so sun, in a natal chart, it would represent the soul. In a general reading like this, like your joy, how you shine bright. Also how you, outward expression, or even how other people see you. Conjoined here with Venus, she is retrograde, which tends to internalize the energy of the planets more than anything else. And this being the fourth house of home. So a lot of Virgos, I feel, are going to want to beautify their home with this Venus energy, to make their homes a more cozy and luxurious place, whether you rent a room, you rent an apartment, you own a house, whatever it might be, to make it more cozy and comfortable and beautiful for you. Whether that means surrounding yourself with art, painting the walls, a bigger renovation. It's this cozy, because Venus is, I say coziness and luxuriousness, whatever that is for you, to making your home space more as you would like it, right? So you could say like interior decorating your space to make it more comfortable for you, so that with the sun here, you can shine brighter. You can be, what's the word? More at ease, but it's more than that. You can let your light shine out. So for any Virgos out there who are living somewhere, or you don't like how your home looks, your room looks, there's a mess everywhere, cleaning up, sprucing up, decorating up wherever it is you live, or potentially moving if it's not where you like, to a place, or making it a place where you feel more yourself, that your home is an expression of you, is going to help you shine brighter. And that's going to help in turn your ambitions as well. So keep that in mind. In the 5th house in your chart, 5th house of creativity as well as romance. I put dating in the 5th house, children, education, grade school, high school education. Sign of Taurus, Saturn, the ruler, sign of Taurus, sign of Capricorn, Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, is here. Very strong. Saturn brings in both patience, the need for patience, to not rush things when it comes to anything you're creating, your creativity, whether or not you're an artist. If you're, younger, high school, your education. I don't think there's high schoolers watching, but if there's anything out there, be patient with your education. When it comes to dating, don't rush into anything with Saturn here. Strongly, don't rush into anything. Pace yourself, pace the other person, whatever it may be. You want to develop long-term solid foundations with Saturn's energy. And again, he's in his own sign, which makes him very, very strong. His strongest position. Yeah. No rushing having kids, no rushing, hey, we're dating, let's get married. No. If it's meant to be, it will last. So remember that. If it's meant to be, it will last. And then, of course, we have your ruler Mercury here as well. I don't sense many Virgos out there are going to say, rush through school, if you're pretty young watching this, or rush a relationship, rush dating, rushing your creative projects or anything like that. My sense is that, Mercury, your ruler here, is you have your wits about you. And Saturn's helping to keep that Mercury energy from getting too quick. Mercury's called Quicksilver. He's kind of anchoring Mercury energy to get you to slow down and think things through. If you're someone who tends to rush, let's say dating, romance, think things through, plan things. Saturn here with Mercury adds to or enhances the meticulous energy of Mercury, because Virgos, you tend to be very good organizers and planners, right? So this helps to slow things down, to not let your mind, your Mercury energy, get going too quickly, to slow down. Let's plan this out. Let's see if it's a good time. Let's see if this is what we want to do or I want to do, and lay that solid foundation, or lay that perfect plan. It may not play out perfectly, but lay out a good plan that is not rushed, right? So that's very important. Now, 5th house is also a house of entrepreneurship, because, a business is something you create. And I believe this came up in last year's year ahead readings, like entrepreneurship and, your own business. Definitely reflective of the times, right? So when it comes to that, especially for those whose ambition is to start a business, or you have a business and you want it to grow and expand, Rahu does have a drishti here, right? Don't rush it. Again, plan it, organize it, set the pace, and trust that is building that solid foundation that Saturn likes, so his long-term blessings can bless you, basically. And lastly, we have Jupiter here in your 6th house. 6th house is a house of work, volunteer, service. It's your health, your lifestyle, your daily routine. The sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn. And Jupiter is here. Growth and expansion. So that can play out as growth and expansion for your work, as in your career. House of career is 10th house here, which is the sign of Gemini, ruled by Mercury over here. So especially, I feel like that will be most strongly felt by Virgos who do have their own business, are creating something in connection to their career path and career goals. But it doesn't exclude other Virgos, right? Other careers. Because you have this strong, ambitious energy that will take off from being grounded, right? And reflecting and growing from the past and trusting your intuition and letting that all fuel what you want to do. So Jupiter here, brings growth to your work, or growth to a sense of service, which could be something you volunteer and do, or just, random acts of kindness as well, right? It's Aquarius, the humanitarian sign. Doing, volunteering once a month to clean your local park. That definitely can play out in a Jupiter expansive sort of way. When it comes to health, with Jupiter here, if you have any health conditions that come up, because Jupiter does expand things, have it checked on sooner than later. So you don't want it to expand too much before you go to a doctor, go to your healthcare practitioner, whomever it might be. So don't wait on, don't ignore any health problems that come up. Do address them right away. So this can be more of Jupiter's blessing rather than him expanding into excess, which is his negative side. Another thing with Jupiter in the 6th house, because it's health, one of the few main places where I look at health in general, there's a saying, he expands the waistline. So keep that in mind. Also, it depends on what you have in your 6th house in your natal chart. But don't wait on anything that comes up health-wise, and get it addressed right away. Again, so Jupiter becomes a blessing here, brings good luck rather than expansion into excess, which you don't want to be excessively sick, right? And when it comes to just general lifestyle and health habits, let's say you've wanted to, I always use this example, train for a triathlon, and it's something you've never done before, Jupiter's going to help that out, can help you expand your health routine, to build upon it, to grow it. Hopefully that is fortunate. So overall Jupiter's good here. Just, I do want to say with health things, don't delay getting checked or things taken care of, whatever it might be. Okay, so that's how the sky looks for you as we begin the year of 2022, Virgo. Overall, I do see it as a building year for you. A year of building and following your heart without rushing anything. All right, Virgo. Thank you for watching. Check the description box below for any important links, and I'm wishing you a wonderful year ahead.